Hey everybody, do you have an L4, L5 disc bulge or an L5S1 disc bulge? Then you're going to want to listen to what we have to talk about today. Everybody keeps asking me, when can I go back to the gym? When can I play golf or tennis? When can I start doing some heavy home projects? Well, today we're going to cover which exercise and when. I'm Dr. Gregory Kramer, Livonia, Michigan, corrective care chiropractor. I've been helping people get out of pain, stabilize their spine so they can live stronger, longer for over 30 years. So let's get right to it today. So today we're going to talk about timelines and healing. In the previous videos, we talked about what to do the first week. We talked about when you're in agony. So I'm going to make some generalizations today. The first 6 months, you've got to be careful. That means you have to wait 6 months for the ligaments to heal. The disc is a ligament. It takes 3 to 24 months. So no heavy, explosive, compressive loading. So if you're going back to the gym, no squatting, no deadlifting, no heavy leg presses, no explosive sports like driving a golf ball, baseball, tennis. So you have to wait 6 months before you can do explosive type things. If you're a striker in martial arts, you cannot be kicking hard and high. If you're a grappler, you cannot be bucking and rolling. That first 6 months are critical. Let me go over some concepts. So just because we can't do heavy, compressive, or explosive work the first 6 months doesn't mean you can't do anything. There's a lot you can do. So let's give you some fundamental concepts. Number one, how to protect your spine. All right, you have to learn how to take care of it. Number two, what's safe? So we talked about a concept of bracing. Bracing is tighten your stomach. It's almost like you're bracing for a punch. Tighten your stomach, tighten your butt. So anytime you lift, anytime you move your body before you roll in bed, brace. That means tightening your stomach. Let's talk about what's safe. We talk about neutral spine. What does that mean? That means your spine is rigid. When I bend, my spine doesn't move. Okay? So if you look at the spine, this is the spinal column, this is the pelvis. The hip joints are right here. Can you see that, Susie? Mm-hmm. All right. When you bend forward, you pivot on the hips. So if you look at the spine has not moved. The hips are moving. That is called neutral spine. My spine is not moving. All right? Let me give you another example. This is a fixation stick. The red represent the vertebrae that are frozen. So when we bend, nothing moves. However, if you flex the individual segments, your disc is at risk. So what we don't want to do, my spine is moving, my back is rounding. We want to avoid that. My spine is straight, it's rigid. It doesn't necessarily have to be vertical, but it's rigid. So if I lift something, I want to keep my spine rigid. Chest out, stick your butt out. If you have to lift something low, which I don't recommend, then we have to bend our knees and we have to go deeper. My spine is rigid, not necessarily vertical. It's rigid but not vertical. Dangerous is flexion and twisting. So paddleball, very risky at this stage of the game. Tennis, very risky. The other concept is change one exercise or variable at a time. So as you improve, again, how you are the first 30 days, at 3 months, at 6 months, you're going to be doing different exercises. So as you improve, you add one at a time, add one exercise, add one variable. So if it's too much, you know what to change. And wait 24 hours. You may not feel it then, but it might feel 24 hours later. Do not stretch a torn disc. Do not touch your toes. It might feel good temporarily. You do not want to keep bending where the disc is damaged. Leave it alone, okay? Now, 3 to 24 months for ligaments to heal. 3 to 24 months. There are many factors involved. Are you overweight? Are you deconditioned? Are you a couch potato? Are you a professional athlete? Do you smoke? Do you have high blood sugar? Do you have diabetes? All those things play a role, so I'm going to give you some individual or some generalized concepts. All right, the first month we've talked about it. The first month, be very careful. You might have to lay on your back for a couple days. All right, that happened to me. You're out for a week. I get that. All right, you got to control the inflammation. We talked about the danger signs. as long as you don't lose control of your bowel or bladder, as long as you don't have extreme foot drop, you got some time on your hands. So that first month, we want a lot of walking, okay? We want to pump that disc. We want balancing exercises. We've talked about this, where you hold yourself, okay? We've talked about gentle looking over the edge that makes you feel unstable, very gentle. Those are gentle stabilization exercises. Stabilization means the small muscles that support your spine, that keep you in alignment. We activate those when you're a little bit off balance. Those are gentle. So walk a couple times a day, even if it's only for 5-10 minutes. So we got walking, we got gentle stabilization exercise that first month, and also we got we've talked about, we got the positions that give you relief. So some of you, you'll need to flex over a bed or over a football. Some of you need to extend. Each one is different, okay? So that's pretty much what you're gonna do the first month. Now, and the first month, usually most of you, that first week is rough, and then you can start doing more. We're walking, we're doing balancing, we're striding, okay? So when we walk, we are holding this right here. I'm balancing, I'm tightening my stomach, I'm tightening my butt. As long as it doesn't hurt you, we're gonna keep progressing. Now, somewhere in that first month, people ask, can I go back to the gym? And the answer is yes, I did. I took about, I blew out my disc. I had to be knocked unconscious to get an MRI. But after a couple days, I was okay. Okay, not healed. Remember, it takes 3 to 24 months for those ligaments to heal. But I could start walking. And then you could start going back to the gym, maybe within 1 to 2 weeks. But you gotta be smart. Don't be stupid, all right? So what does that mean? That means you can do body weight exercises. You can do push-ups. You can do machine weightlifting if you don't have to lift a plate. So look for a type of machine, weightlifting machine, that you put a pin in. You wanna make sure your spine is neutral. So be careful. I would avoid leg pressing that first month. Could you do some squats? You probably can do some body weight squats, but maybe not that low. Maybe you just go halfway, okay? I don't know what your fitness level is. Again, some people, if you go too deep, you flex your spine, so you gotta be cautious. So again, that first month, gentle gym exercises. Gentle, you're not lifting any plates, you're putting a pin in, you can hang, you could probably do chin-ups, you could probably do push-ups, you could do gentle half squats as long as it doesn't hurt your back or cause any radiating pain. You can focus on balance, and that's kind of what you're doing. If you're a golfer, you could probably do some light putting. Probably no tennis. I can't figure out how you're gonna do that easy that first month. Probably no combative sports, no wrestling, no jiu-jitsu, no home projects. If you have to lift anything, you don't wanna lift anything heavy that first month, but if you have to lift something light, neutral spine, and lift from the knees up. Don't go lifting things from the floor. You're at high risk if you do. So you really want to avoid that. So again, that first month is really, take it easy, okay? You really gotta be cautious. Now, after 30 days, we're going into our second month. What can we do? Now, we're gonna show you some exercises you can do today. We call it the big three, all right? We're gonna show you something called a cat-camel, which is a warm-up. We're gonna show you a bird dog. We're gonna show you a curl up and a front plank. And I'll show you that in just a bit. Those are famous exercises from a famous biomechanics named Stuart McGill. So those are some basic stability exercises. Stability is we wanna strengthen the front, we wanna strengthen the side, we wanna strengthen the rear. All right, we're gonna practice good lifting by keeping our spine straight. We're gonna walk a couple times a day. That's that first month, all right? Second month, we can start doing a little bit more. Perhaps if you're, again, your pain's going away, you're getting stronger, you can sit longer, those are good signs. How long you can sit is a good indication of how much pressure's on that disc, all right? You wanna minimize sitting as much as you can, but it's also kind of a metric in terms of how healthy the disc is. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna gradually start doing more. Now, right around that third month, at the end of 3 months, about 90 days, many researchers feel your disc can be somewhere around 80% healed. But remember, every time you irritate it, every time you flare it up again, the clock starts over. So you gotta be very cautious you don't overdo something. Don't overstretch, that means bend. Do not over squat deep. If you start doing gentle leg presses, don't go full range of motion. Those are the risks, okay? Now, right around 6 months, you can start pretty much training harder, all right? So I'll give you an example. I do martial arts. So at 3 months, I started doing some very light pad work. So if you're a striker in combative sports, you are not gonna wanna kick high, you wanna kick very low so you don't strain your disc. If you're a grappler, you gotta have very easy workouts. You are not gonna be rolling hard. We're talking like a flow drill. Very easy, no ego, nice technical. You're not gonna buck and twist. If you're a golfer at 3 months, you can start making your strokes a little bit longer so you can do more than putt, but you're certainly not gonna do an explosive drive and see how far you can go. You'll wait about 6 months. You could probably start doing some light tennis at 3 months, all right? Now, that doesn't mean you're diving for shots. It's certainly you're not gonna go for a low ball. Remember, how do we injure the disc? Twisting and flexion. So if you reach and twist, particularly in the morning, you're at high risk. So sure, could you hit a ball that's right here? Absolutely. Just make sure you move your feet when you turn so you're not twisting your spine so much. So again, and no hard serving. So again, gentle exercise, nothing explosive. We're at the 3 month mark, okay? Baseball, you can play catch. It's probably hard to play in a competitive game, you know? I probably would avoid swinging a bat hard. I don't know how you can swing a bat easy, so you're probably not gonna do that yet. Basketball, you start shooting hoops, gentle, start working on technique, but you're not gonna go all out and cut and make a move. Again, the disc is not healed. And there's degrees of healing, okay? Just like if you skinned your knee, there's degrees of healing. We start doing we can test explosive things at about 6 months. So again, first month, you can do exercise, you can move, you can walk, you can start lifting. And then somewhere between month number 2, we also need to start lifting, all right? So what I'm gonna show you, this is something called a one-legged deadlift. It's very important we learn the concept of hip hinging. That means we have a little bit of bend in our knee and we lift, okay? I'm gonna come over to the mat. You guys follow with me. I'm gonna show you some of that. So what this means is when we bend, my spine stays straight. So my spine is straight. That's good. This is good. This is bad. Okay, the spine stays straight. Now, one of the things we want to learn to do is learn to do a one-arm deadlift or a one-legged deadlift. Why? Number one, when you do anything with one leg, you're getting balance. Remember we said about balance that we're activating the small, stabilizing muscles. Number two, you can get a great bodybuilding effect with less weight, less spinal load, but yet more muscle activation. So if we're going to work the left glute and hamstring, this is a two-legged, one-arm deadlift. Two leg, one arm. My spine is straight, and I'm just doing small range of motion. So right about 2 months, we can start doing this. Okay, so it looks like from the front, 2 legs, 1 arm, the weight's in this hand. Eventually, we should practice with no weight every day, small range of motion, a one-legged deadlift, small range. And then eventually, we get better. Master this. This exercise builds strength, stability, and balance, and it's very safe. But you start with it no weight, and it might take you a month. So again, we're going to introduce this again somewhere around probably about the 2nd month, okay? And it would look like this. All right, and that's just a cue for you to lift. So again, we have a weight in the right hand, small range of motion we start with. Small, we just kind of pause. Our spine is straight. Eventually we'll go further. But for the first couple months, I would not let your hand go below your knee. Small range. And we're always bracing. Tight stomach, tight butt. So learning how the one-legged deadlift is very good. And then we're going to do a warm-up. We're going to do the cat camel. All right? This works your entire spine without a load. So we get on all four. We're on our hands and knees. Our hands are shoulder width apart, and our knees are hip width. We're solid. Head goes down. Head down, stomach up. Head up, stomach down. And then we do a little range of motion with our neck, rotate, and we can get a little bit of twisting. Okay, that is called the cat camel. Then we're going to do a bird dog. The key to the bird dog is being solid. We push with our heel, we make a fist. And then we do a couple reps each side. We try not to move. We are trying not to move our spine. We're trying to keep our spine rigid so that we move our arm and leg. Pretend you have a glass of red wine on your back and you're on a white carpet. You want to be rigid. That's the bird dog. Now we're going to work the front of our spine. We're going to do a plank, tight stomach, like this. If that's too hard, then do it from your knees. When I will show advanced versions in another video. Then we do a side plank. Tight stomach, chest out. If that's too hard, we do it from our knees. This is modified, easier version. Front plank, side plank, easier version. Okay? I will show advanced exercises afterwards. Okay? Another version for the front, and in addition to the front plank, is the curl up. Tight stomach, brace like you're bracing for a punch, and you're just coming up an inch. Very little motion. It's not a full sit-up. Brace, contract, very little. Feel your stomach. Feel your stomach, brace. Those are the big three. Front plank or curl up, side plank. Now, if it hurts to do a side plank, to work on the side muscles, then I recommend the one-arm deadlift, because I am using these muscles to keep upright. So we can do the deadlift one arm, we can do the one leg one arm deadlift, we can march with a weight in our hand, we can do a suitcase carry where we carry a suitcase to work, and we're always focusing on being tight. So those exercises are what we're doing around the second month. So we've covered first month, second month, 3 month. We don't do high intensity explosive exercises until about 6 months. So these are the exercises I recommend. Remember, if you hurt yourself, if you do too much, take some time off, go back to square one, which is just walking, doing stability exercises like balancing, like one-legged stuff, like looking over the edge, or looking over the cliff, ice it for a few days, and then start to progress again. If I can get better, and remember, my disc herniation was probably worse than most of yours. I had to be knocked unconscious to get an MRI. If I can get better, so can you. And most of you, over 95% of you, will be able to get better without surgery. So I'm Dr. Gregory Kramer, Livonia Chiropractor. If you have questions, please comment. If you like what we do, hey, like it and subscribe. I'm going to show up or put up another video probably early next week on advanced exercises, how to make these harder. So if you're an athlete, you not only have to be able to do the basics, but you need more, and we'll talk about that in our future videos. If you're just joining us and you're new, you just hurt yourself, go back to our previous videos. I believe this is video 5 on L4-L5 disc bulge or disc herniation. It talks about what to do, what not to do, emergency things. Again, I'm Dr. Gregory Kramer, Livonia Chiropractor. I'll see you on the next visit.